So once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is Dr. Lewis from the Health and Wellness Spot. We welcome you all to this live. My people on YouTube, karibuni sana. My people on TikTok, as always, it's a pleasure to have you here. You never disappoint. And anytime we come on live, you're quick to be here, you're quick to interact with us, you're quick to ask us questions. We appreciate that support so far. And I'll never tire telling you that thank you so much for taking us all the way to 100,000 subscribers and above on TikTok. Thank you for taking us to 15,600 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you for getting us to almost 3,000 on Telegram. We appreciate all of you for the support that you've shown us on our social media platforms. So today, I am interested in talking about the macronutrients. These are basically carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So in those three, I will talk briefly about the protein and the fats and their benefits, and then I will go straight to the carbohydrate, which is basically our center of interest today. Are carbohydrates really necessary? Do we really need them in our diets? Why do we call carbohydrates sugars? And if at all, these sugars are very important to us, why do I tell you to quit them? There is a conversation that has been going around that sugar is seriously important to the human being, and even our DNA has sugar. So I think it's best to talk about it. If at all that DNA has sugar, is it really as important as we think sugar is? Because again, in DNA we have ribose, and the sugar that we keep on talking about is glucose and fructose. So what is the relationship? Where are these coming from? So welcome aboard again. People on YouTube, I welcome you. I appreciate you being here. I hope at the end of this conversation, we will have an adequate interaction, and at the end of it all, we have something to learn. So thank you for being here. Again, on YouTube, if my sound is clear, just wave so that we can start. Okay, that will be very positive for us so that we can kick in immediately. People on TikTok, as usual, you're quite an amazing audience. And yeah, good. Radisco, welcome aboard on YouTube. I appreciate you being here. Today, people on TikTok are feeling very excited and everybody's sending in gifts already. We appreciate those gifts. We appreciate kindly watch our videos on YouTube too, like them, support us by sending us those super chats. You can also join our memberships. We have different types of memberships according to your ability. You can join our YouTube memberships so that we grow together as a team. But so far, so good. Thank you so much for the support. So now, before we start, let me just say hi to people on TikTok, and then we continue. JK, I see you. I see you, Doreen. I see you, Jellison. I see you, Naito Mwas. I see you, Deck. I see you, the Explorer. Abdi, I see you. I see you, Josephat, Masi, Rechi, Nick Shuja, Promise, Ann Mwangi, MLT, Promise, Aristo. Thank you so much for being here. I can't mention all of you because they're already at almost 200 people on. Tag that friend of yours, let them come over so we can clear this conversation of carbohydrates once and for all. On YouTube, thank you, Fatuma Doyo. I see you, Fatma. Karibu sana. I see also Msenga. Hi, how are you? So let me start by telling you this. Like at some point, I tend to think we were really brainwashed when we were made to think that there are only three macronutrients that provide us with energy and essential nutrients. That is carbohydrates, protein, and vitamins. And then we were told, or most of us were taught, that carbohydrates are energy-giving foods. And if you don't eat carbohydrates, that is trouble loading, that you will not have energy. Wow. So if at all you still believe that saying, this is the time to unlearn that thing. Now, yes, carbohydrates were designed to give you energy. And the reason why they say that is because the end product of metabolism of carbohydrates is glucose. Most carbohydrates, when you break them down, whether complex or simple carbohydrates, you'll end up getting glucose. And glucose is designed to give you the energy that you require, because in the cell, it is converted, actually it's taken all the way to the mitochondria and then converted to ATP, and then you get the energy that you require. However, I want you to understand all the three macronutrients, when they get to the mitochondrial level, they cease to be carbohydrates, they cease to be glucose, they cease to be protein or amino acids, they cease to be fat or glycerol. They all come as acetyl-CoA. That acetyl-CoA is the one that is loaded into the Krebs cycle. For those of you who have done biochemistry, they understand that there is a process, there is a machinery in the mitochondria that is supposed to break down all these macronutrients to give you ATP, which is the energy currency of the cell. Now, for you to get that ATP, at mitochondrial level, the cell does not know you ate glucose or you ate carbohydrates or you ate protein. The cell only recognizes that all of these macronutrients are broken down to give you one thing that is called acetyl-CoA. That is what is loaded into the Krebs cycle to process the energy that you require. And therefore, it's useless to tell us that you need carbohydrates to get energy. That is just one reason. Number two reason, anytime you eat carbohydrates, you will break it down to get glucose. You will absorb the glucose. Then that glucose will cause a spike in blood sugar levels, which is just basically blood glucose levels. Now, the body is designed perfectly because it will instruct the pancreas to give you insulin. The essence of getting that insulin is to actually come and pump this blood glucose into the cells. Now, why is it pumping this blood glucose into the cells? Number one is to reduce the level of blood glucose back to the normal level. However, insulin is called a hypoglycemic hormone, which means it will take blood glucose even below the normal range. That is into hypo. Once you go into hypo, now your body will start reacting by telling you, hey, I need more glucose. So it will send you into cravings, it will send you into all those headaches and confusions, so that you bring in new glucose so that the level of glucose goes back to normal. So that's normal physiology. Number two, you've eaten that glucose, the level is rising, insulin comes in, pumps this glucose into the cells, and in those cells, the essence of taking it into the cells is that if you are active, your muscle cells will utilize this glucose to convert it into ATP for you to continue working out or working or walking or doing the exercise that you're doing. But since most of you don't do these things and our lifestyles nowadays have been sedentary, what happens is this glucose will therefore be sent into these cells. It will not be broken down to give you ATP. It will actually be converted to fat and stored into fat cells. Now, for you to know how the body is interesting, the body is storing this glucose as fat in the fat cells, not because it wants that, but because it is preparing for an emergency in future. So in future, the body is expecting you will go into droughts. There will be natural calamities, so you'll have to fast. Also, fasting will be there. So if there is starvation, there is natural calamities, and there is fasting, then the body will turn from the glucose that you're bringing in through carbohydrates to breaking down this fat to give you healthy energy sources that are called ketone bodies. For those of you who still believe that this will take you into ketoacidosis, you need to unlearn, because ketoacidosis is a diabetic emergency. It doesn't happen in normal people. You must be diabetic for you to get to ketoacidosis, because now you have high glucose levels, and then you're also burning fat to get high ketone bodies. That is a problem. That is an emergency. But if you're stopping consumption of carbohydrates, you've burned the glycogen in the liver, you've burned the glucose in the blood and the cells, and now you're turning to alternative energy sources, which is the fat cells, to break them down to give you ketone bodies, then you will do okay. Another misconception, when I tell you to stop eating those fruits and that honey, I want you to understand that fruits are high in a sugar that is called fructose. Now understand this, fructose can never be broken down to give you ATP. If you've done biochemistry and you understand it, you know fructose will be taken into the liver. It will be broken down to give you triglycerides, which are basically fats. Now, these fats will be stored in the liver, but the liver doesn't like to store fats, because now that will lead you into a fatty liver. So the liver sends these fats through combining them with LDL to send them into the cells for storage or even to in the muscle for them to be burned. Now, the process of burning fructose to get energy is quite complicated because you have to burn that fructose, get triglycerides, and then change these triglycerides into glycerol, then burn that glycerol to get ketone bodies. So you see, that's a whole channel. So that means you will have to stop eating carbohydrates and then focus on fasting. When you focus on fasting, now you'll be able to break down this fat. Unlike glucose, which is just converted directly to ATP in the cells and you get the energy. So that is instant energy for the brain. And that's why the body loves glucose, because it's instant energy and it doesn't require any form of energy to break it down. So it's a quick fix. So the body likes quick fix. It doesn't like spending energy. And since glucose is the one that provides appropriate energy faster, then the body prefers glucose over any other source of energy. That's why it's so hard for you to lose the fat. Now, up to there. Also remember, before I even go ahead, fructose in the liver, it will be converted by another enzyme into uric acid. Now, that is where people don't know. When you're told to stop eating that red meat because you have gout, you need to ask your doctor some questions about this, because when you convert this fructose, which is the fruit sugar, which is the processed foods sugar, which is the packaged foods sugar, which is the honey sugar, we break it down to get triglycerides, that is fat, that will lead you to a fatty liver and insulin resistance, a mother of the metabolic syndrome. Number two, an enzyme in the liver will also break down this fructose to give you uric acid. Now, this uric acid, if at all you've been consuming the sugar for a longest period of time, you already have a problem with the kidneys, and therefore you will not excrete this uric acid from the system. What does that tell you? The uric acid levels start going up because you have a problem with the kidneys, and that is caused by sugar. Once the uric acid starts going up, and then it ends up precipitating in the joints and then crystallizing. So these crystals will precipitate in the joints, and then they cause you all that pain and inflammation. That is what we call gout or gouty arthritis. So on the list of things that cause you gout is not red meat. No, it is fructose. So when you're told to quit red meat, but nobody tells you about fruits, you're misinformed. That's the reason why you're taking colchicine. That's the reason why you're taking allopurinol, and you're never getting any better. Your joints keep on swelling. You keep on feeling this pain in all joints. So it's time to unlearn. So that is why I'm telling you to quit fruits, because one, you'll have the metabolic syndrome, and two, you will end up in gout and gouty arthritis. That is a serious problem. So now, that is carbohydrates. But I want you to also understand that carbohydrates are classified into two forms. One form is the simple carbohydrates. The simple carbohydrates means they have the lowest level of carbohydrates that cannot be broken any further to give other carbohydrates. So for example, glucose. You'll only break down glucose to get ATP. You can't break it down to get any other carbohydrate. So the end product of simple carbohydrates metabolism is either glucose, which is the monosaccharides, or fructose. Okay? And then we have complex carbohydrates. So the simple carbohydrates are broken down very fast, they are absorbed easily and very fast, and they cause a spike in insulin in your blood. That spike of insulin is what we are trying to avoid. Because anytime you get that spike of insulin, that means you're storing energy. We want you to burn energy, but you're storing energy because that insulin is an anabolic hormone. So it pumps glucose into fat cells and into cells for storage. So since I told you the body exists in two states, one, you're burning fat, two, you're storing fat, or you're storing energy. So we want you to be the person who burns energy more than who stores energy. Okay? So for you to store energy, for you to burn the energy, then you have to lower your insulin. But if you continue eating simple carbohydrates, that spike of glucose will continue saving your energy in the cells. That is a problem. Okay? That's why we introduce fasting. And believe me, all of us eat crappy diets every day. We do. We falter sometimes. Okay? But fasting makes you get the discipline, maintain that discipline and the order. And fasting also trains you to be emotionless so that you don't have emotional addiction to foods. Most of you eat not because they are hungry, but because they feel like they want to eat. That's a problem. Because anytime you get into your feelings and you want to eat because you feel like you want to eat, you will get into problems. Because also remember, hunger is not an empty stomach. Hunger is always a mindset. That's the reason why if you eat your lunch at 12 noon, at that moment in time, your mind will not let you rest. Your stomach will not let you rest. But past that hour, then you're okay. You don't want to eat anymore. So that's why we're telling you. So if you lower insulin through fasting, you've actually fixed your taste buds, you've fixed your mindset, and you've fixed your gut. That means you'll not be an emotional eater. Those of you who tell me I've added weight because I'm an emotional eater, it's not true. You just can't control your insulin levels. So the complex carbohydrates, let's come back. The complex carbohydrates are like the fibers that are broken down slow, and then they release a steady state way of energy into the system. So it's a steady state. So it doesn't cause that spike of glucose or that spike of insulin. It's a steady way to release energy into the bloodstream. Now, these complex carbohydrates, I already mentioned them, and I'll keep mentioning them. And beans is part of that. You cannot classify beans as protein when 65% of the bean is basically carbohydrates and fiber. Only 20% is the protein. So yes, beans are plant protein. However, you cannot classify them as protein because they have minimal amount of protein as compared to the carbohydrates and the fibers. That's what you're supposed to change, okay, to unlearn. And everybody will come ranting, oh, beans are proteins, beans are. That's why I don't answer those questions, because I see a serious confusion in people. So somebody is addicted to rice and beans, or chapati and beans, and they think they've taken a very healthy meal. They even add cabbages. So you have rice, beans plus a cabbage, or an Irish potato. The entire plate is carbohydrates. Because again, vegetables are fibers. The cabbages are fibers, rich in fiber. So if your plate is full of that, 98% of that plate is literally carbohydrates. So of course, you'll be addicted to these carbohydrates. And once you get the addiction, that's why you keep on arguing all the time. And if you start arguing about health, then we'll tell you to fast, because fasting will lower your emotions. That is what we want. Okay? So we have the complex carbohydrates that are broken down slowly, and most of them are actually broken down in the large intestine by bacteria, the fiber, by the bacteria in the gut, in the large intestine. They break them down, and then they give you the healthy vitamins and healthy fiber. So they cause a slow, a natural curve of insulin in the blood. That will never affect your problem. That will never bring you all the way to diabetes. However, if you're already diabetic, then you don't need any form of carbohydrates. And that begs for the question, are carbohydrates really necessary in our diets? We will answer that. Let's come back and go to the protein. So protein, we have plant-based protein and animal-based protein. All of them are good protein. However, these are the small differences, and I'll put up a video to differentiate between the plant-based protein and the animal-based protein. However, in a nutshell, this is how it happens. So in plant-based protein, they come with fibers, they come with glucose, which is sugars, and other carbohydrates. But animal-based protein, they come with essential fats, which is saturated fats. They come with all amino acid profiles. So like the egg, like the fatty meat, like the liver, this has all essential amino acids that you require to synthesize your neurotransmitters and your brain hormones. So if you're being disturbed by sleep, if you're being disturbed by, they call it mental health problems. I put it in quotes because mental health is just a messed up gut. So if you're consuming plant-based protein, those people who are on a plant-based diet, the vegetarians, I don't have a problem with you, but I don't advocate for vegetarianism. I advocate for people to eat meat, for people to eat eggs. And the reason is meat and eggs will come with essential fats, and we need fat for energy. They also come with all amino acid profiles that you require to synthesize literally every neurotransmitter and hormones in your system. Because most hormones are amino acid hormones derived, and most neurotransmitters are also amino acid derived. And where do you get this amino acid? You will get all of the amino acids that you require in the egg, in the liver, in fatty meats, in fish, in chicken, animal-based protein. But the plant-based protein come with fiber, and they also come with glucose, what we are trying to run away from. Okay, so since they don't come with fat, remember, the system tells you to eat lean protein. Lean protein. The same system that tells you to eat or to consume or cook your meals with unsaturated vegetables, seed oils, the toxic ones. It's the same system that classified beans as proteins to confuse you, so that once you eat that, you get into problems and you'll never doubt the system. Now, most of you are taught beans are protein from primary school or nursery school. You still hold on to that thought up to now, and you cannot have a substantial argument about this. But you want to tell somebody you are wrong, beans are protein, but you do not have a substantial argument about it. You are actually telling us that your teacher in nursery school or in primary school told you that, and this is what actually is being taught up to now. In the syllabus, we still have beans being classified as protein. This is a crime, but nobody is talking about it. How will you get it out of the syllabus? That's why you need to go through the syllabus and then come out and start on learning some things. So if you've never gone through the syllabus, you'll never understand these things. Okay? So if you want protein that is high in fat, and remember, fat is satiety food. So if you cannot overeat fat, but you can overeat lean protein. So the system tells you to eat lean protein, and that fatty protein will cause you high cholesterol. Do you know why they're telling you that? They are being very directional. They're actually telling you continue eating lean protein because you will overeat it. Once you overeat lean protein, excess protein in the system will be converted back to glucose. There is a channel of the liver converting protein into glucose that is called gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis. From the word neo, it means new. So you're synthesizing glucose, neo, from new or other sources of glucose that are not carbohydrates. That is the fat and that is the protein. So you can get glucose from protein. So those people who tell me, thank you so much. For those people who tell me that if I don't eat carbohydrates and not get energy, that is a lie. We've detected that lie because the liver can still break down the fat that you've stored in your system. And even worse, people who are obese are the ones who defend this point to the latter, that if I fast, I'll go into low glucose. But you have a lot of glucose in form of fat in your body already. Why do you have that tummy, the pot belly? Why do you have that cellulite, ladies? It's because you have high insulin and you have high fat in your system, and you need to burn this fat to get glucose or to get ketone bodies. So the body has its own way. If you're fasting and you're not on diabetic drugs, you'll never go into hypo, because the body will start breaking down protein to give you energy, which is glucose. It will also break down fat to give you glycerol, and this glycerol will be broken down to give you glucose. So we have glycolysis, which is basically breaking down carbohydrates and glucose to get ATP, and then we have gluconeogenesis, which basically means you're breaking down protein to get and fat to get glucose and then get ATP. So either way, you still have your glucose. Okay, so eating lean protein is a crime, because if you eat lean protein, you will overeat it. Once you overeat lean protein, what will happen is you will convert excess of that protein into glucose, and that will cause a spike in blood glucose levels. That will bring you high insulin. That will make you not to burn fat. And that is what we're calling metabolic syndrome later on in life. So the reason why I insist on you eating fatty protein, when I tell you to eat fat meat, I tell you to go and take the fatty meat, is because, one, fatty protein is satiety food. So you'll eat it and feel full, and then you'll take a lot of time before you get hungry. That is what you want. You want that gap between meals. That is what we call intermittent fasting. So the easiest way to lower your insulin levels is to eat fatty meats. Hello? Now listen to this. 1 molecule of fat can give you 9 kilocalories of energy. Fat. 9 kilocalories of energy. 1 molecule of carbohydrates gives you 4 kilocalories. So you have 9 for fat, and then you have 4 for carbohydrates. So if you're thinking with me, which of these two is energy-giving food? I will sit back and wait for that answer. For those people who say that carbohydrates are energy-giving foods, now here we have fat that gives you 9 kilocalories of energy, and then we have carbohydrates that are giving you 4. Same to protein. Protein will also give you 4, which means protein plus carbohydrates, 1 molecule each, will still give you 1 kilocalorie of energy less than the fat, 1 molecule of fat. So if you're thinking Are carbohydrates still the energy-giving foods? Are they? The answer is basically no. The answer is fats are the energy-giving foods. But the problem is 90% of our plates are carbohydrates. Look at when you walk into a party, you get a buffet, and that buffet, you see biryani, you see white rice, you see brown rice, you see pilau. Now in your head, you're thinking there is a lot of food in this party. But in real sense, all those foods are just rice, simple carbohydrates. You walk into another party, you see steak, you see fatty meats, and you say, hey, I'm diabetic, and my doctor says that I'll get cholesterol if I eat fatty meats, that I'll not eat these fatty meats because I'll get gout. And those people who get gout through eating meat are people who will go there, sit down, eat a whole kg of meat which has been fried in seed oils, eat with ugali, and then drink 17 bottles of beer, and then blame the meat but still defend the beer, still defend the ugali, because ugali is energy giving. That meat is the one that is causing me gout. So the doctor comes in and tells you, hey, do you take alcohol? Yes, I do. And do you go out and take meat, nyama choma, and beer? And your answer is yes, doctor. And then the doctor says, confirmed, because he was actually betting. He doesn't know anything about you. He was just betting that I hope he says yes. Then he says yes. Then the doctor says, you see now, you see. Wewe ndo unakula nyama kwa wingi. When I was growing up, I used to love fatty meats. I used to pick those fatty meats in meat when my mother was cooking. And she used to get so upset because she's wondering, why am I taking fatty meats? And these fatty meats are harmful to our health. And now when I tell her to eat fatty meat, she still looks at me the same way. Like, hey, are you serious, Daktari? Are you serious? So the system brainwashed us so deep to blame meat for what sugar and fructose causes us. So you eat a fruit pudding at lunch hour, you eat pasteurized milk, you take wheat products, you take sugar, but you will never blame those. You want to blame the meat. How many of you have dropped meat and still have gout? You've dropped meat, you've dropped salt, you're still on allopurinol or colchicine, the drugs for gout, and nothing happens. You just take those drugs, they cure your symptoms a little bit. When the cold season comes in, you're back to arthritis and you're back to gout. How many of you? How many of your parents are suffering from these conditions? They are strictly on drugs. So somebody is taking drugs for gout or arthritis. Your mother is taking drugs for diabetes and hypertension. So those are three types of drugs already. And each hypertension has maybe 3 drugs or 2. Diabetes has another 2. Those are 4 drugs already. Add the 2 or 1 for gout. Then your mother is sick, has H. pylori. Add the kit. Your parent is basically a walking mini pharmacy. These drugs are killing their livers. Nobody's talking about that. When you go to the hospital, the doctor doesn't ask you, what drugs have you taken before? Nobody cares. We want to just add on the prescription. So, protein are good for your health. You need protein because they come with amino acids. Make them fatty protein, because that fatty protein will not be overate. It will also cause you satiety. Okay, so you cannot overeat. When I tell you to eat 6 to 8 eggs a day, and then you get scared, you are supposed to eat a lot of eggs. But again, the system will not allow you to eat a lot of eggs because you cannot overeat protein. You can't, unless it is lean protein. But carbohydrates, you take a packet of potato crisps, and within 5 minutes, you've cleared it all and you want another. You take a piece of cake. The only thing that will take you out of that cake is your taste buds telling you, hey, enough of this. Who bewitched us? So, do we really need carbohydrates? The answer is no. Why am I saying that? Now, I know there's a lot of noise around, and everybody will tell you, even people who donate blood are given soda to replenish the glucose that has been taken away through those. I saw another doctor telling people that you can eat. The reason why they give you soda and bread when you're after donation of blood is because the half liter of blood that you've just given out has glucose and the energy, and therefore your body has to get energy from soda and bread. That is a very ignorant statement from a medical laboratory technician. Those are the type of doctors that we need to shame. And on TikTok, the guy is flourishing. Those are the doctors we need to shame, because the body has its own mechanisms of adapting. You have a lot of fat in the system. The body will just burn fat to give you glucose. You don't need to take soda. If you take soda, you're increasing your insulin. So you will have all these problems. And he actually said that before the donation, you are screened for different conditions so that you're diabetes free. But let me ask you for real. Do we eat food just because we want to eat food? Or do we eat food to sustain life? I thought we eat food to sustain life, and that's why a balanced diet is a fallacy for me. If you tell me a balanced diet, I'll tell you no. Tell me about it, because I want to know if you're eating nutrient-dense foods over a balanced diet. A balanced diet basically says eat ugali plus sukuma plus meat, 2 pieces of meat. Some small sukuma and a big ugali. So 70% of your plate is ugali. And then now a modern and mainstream nutritionists will come and tell you this is a plate that has been divided into portions so that you can control your portions. Now, even if you eat a small piece of ugali, you will still produce insulin. How can you tell a diabetic patient to regulate or to moderate sugar intake? How can you tell me, just you're diabetic already, you're even on insulin, and I'm telling you, for you to just don't drop carbohydrates. What you do, just moderate them. Just eat 1 spoon of sugar. Come on. That's the reason why the same doctors will tell you, eat your carbohydrate meal and then inject yourself with insulin. And by the way, my people on TikTok, there's a lady who was, I think she was trying to seek attention or sympathy on TikTok. The one who shows you how to inject insulin and stuff. And she's talking about her uncle who died of diabetes and stuff. Kindly, if you can tag that lady, refer her to us. We can help her. Okay, because insulin therapy is a waste of time. That one is for real. Diabetes drugs are a waste of time. These are medicines that are supposed to be used for short term. But if you're taking these drugs for 1 year plus, you are the joke. Diabetes is reversible. Whether type 1 or type 2, it doesn't matter. Whether gestational, diabetes is reversible. Anyway, back to our macronutrients, the 3: protein, vitamins, and carbohydrates. So the only macronutrient that has no daily requirement is carbohydrates. There is no essential carbohydrates. There is no daily requirement for carbohydrates. That tells you if you don't eat it, there's nothing that will happen to you. However, if you eat carbohydrates chronically, there is always a disease and a condition attached to carbohydrate consumption. Hello? Consumption of carbohydrates will lead you into a ditch. Lack of carbohydrates will never lead you anywhere. Look at proteins. If you don't consume proteins, marasmus and kwashiorkor. If you don't eat fats, you'll get into problems. Memory loss, because the brain is 80% fat, so it requires fat. The hormones come from fat. Absorption of fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K require saturated fats. So you go into vitamin deficiencies. Now, if you don't absorb vitamins, those deficiencies are detrimental to your health. You'll experience all these issues. How about carbohydrates? Maybe let me ask you, if you don't eat carbohydrates, what will happen? You'll go into low blood glucose? Will you? Even after I've explained gluconeogenesis? Maybe you tell me. What happens if you don't eat carbohydrates? And this is for the people who are not carbohydrates addicts, because if you're an addict, you will tell me you have low energy, you'll have confusion. Those are just symptoms of withdrawal from carbohydrates. So when you're fasting, the body punishes you. So somebody tell me, if you don't eat carbohydrates, what happens to you? What happens to you if you don't eat carbohydrates? Nothing. Yes, exactly. Nothing will happen to you if you don't eat carbohydrates. But if you eat them, somebody here is saying the proteins and fats will give you energy. Yes, exactly, Naomi. If you do not eat carbohydrates, the protein that you're eating and the fat that you're eating will be broken down to give you glucose and ATP, the healthiest energy. But if you consume carbohydrate, the end result is we can easily predict. Now, the reason, if you've been here for long, you know, the reason why I always ask you, tell me about your diet. What are your carbohydrate sources? What is your cooking oil? Do you consume this? Do you eat this? How often do you fast? These questions are totally intentional because they're directional. And the end result is, let's take this person all the way. You tell me, I don't take sugar, but I eat fruits. What are you saying? What are you saying? You know, I only drink an energy drink once in a while when I feel energy is low. There is no energy in energy drinks. There is sugar. So you are basically addicted to carbohydrates and the sugar. Now you want it. The body is judging you for not eating the carbohydrates, and the body wants it because you've accustomed yourself to eating those carbohydrates. So the body tells you, hey, bring what I want. You how this will boost their muscles. But in real sense, nobody's interested in the protein shake. All of them are interested in the sugar in the protein shake. Get that sugar out of that protein shake and everybody disappears. Sugar is a carbohydrate. Look at the coffee shops. Most of you go to coffee shops. I love my coffee black. You post those pictures. I love my coffee. I enjoy coffee black. But the real sense is you have 6 tablespoonfuls of sugar in that coffee. You do not love coffee. You love the sugar. Coffee is only acting as a vehicle. One day you'll be honest with us. And I always tell people who sell coffee, if you withdraw sugar from your shop, your business will come down immediately. For a reason. Nobody likes your coffee. People love sugar. People are addicted to sugar. Okay? So if you've attained health goals, you are in the normal BMI, you always fast, your blood sugars are even lower. When you're fasting, most of us, we realized when you're fasting, our blood sugars went all the way to around 3.4 and 3.7. If you go to hospital and take that blood sugar test, Mickey will tell you, they will tell you, hey, you're suffering. You need to eat something. Eat a carbohydrate. Eat a snack. Eat biscuits. Take some soda for you to bring back your glucose levels. That is the most insane thing somebody can ever tell you. That your blood glucose are low, yet you're not experiencing any symptoms. You're only fasting. And there is no symptoms of low blood sugar levels. And somebody is telling you, hey, your blood sugar levels are low. You need to consume soda. Run away as fast as Kipchoge, because you'll end up in serious problems. That is rebound. When you're fasting, your glucose will go down. That is what we want. We need your glucose down. Don't be fooled that the body loves glucose. It doesn't. The body only loves it when you've accustomed yourself to eating carbohydrates, because that is the 90% of your plate is carbohydrates. So what do you expect? When you eat carbohydrates, then the body only knows glucose. Now it becomes so hard for you to quit glucose because the body sends you into addictions. But you need to drop that carbohydrate for you to start burning fat. So you'll never lose weight if at all you're consuming carbohydrates in all forms. Again, if you've lost weight and you've reached a point where you're stagnated, even though you're eating healthy keto, it's time to check your adrenal glands. It's also time to check your thyroid gland. So if your weight has stagnated at some point, 2 things are involved. It's either your adrenal glands are problematic or your thyroid glands are problematic. So those 2 are also killed by sugar. That tells us that you're still not honest with us. You're eating carbohydrates silently and lying to us. You know, my weight is stagnating. You know, no, come on. Or you're eating lean protein because that's what the system has told you. Okay, so let me read out some questions here. And also let me say hi to my people on YouTube and TikTok. Hi, Msenga, how are you? Hello, Makori. Hussein, Gatita, Mary, Maina. I see you all. Is it good, doc, to brush with coconut oil? It's recommended. Yes, brushing teeth with coconut oil is very good. Actually, you don't really need to brush it. You just need to take coconut oil and just gargle in your mouth for quite some time. It's very good for your oral hygiene. I started eating only once in 24 hours. How healthy is that for my liver? 100% healthy. Brown PJ, 100% healthy. Most of us are on 1 meal a day. And if you ask those people who I'm taking through a weight loss journey, this is, I think, the 5th week, and we are on 1 meal a day. super good. Your memory is sharp. You don't walk into an office and start yawning 30 minutes later. Then you go for tea plus milk plus sugar plus chapati, and then another 1 hour you're yawning again. Chapati has something on people. Very addictive, but again, if you take it, you get so sick. You're yawning all the time. Your memory is fogging. You can't even concentrate. You want more chapati. So why would you eat 5 meals a day? And that's how the system is designed. The system is designed to make you eat 5 to 6 meals a day and snack all through so that you become a slave. Okay, that's how they're designed. I just finished my 84-hour fast, replenishing with smoothie mix watermelon. Good. Watermelon. Drone tracker. Why would you take sugar when you're breaking a fast? You just did 84 hours. I'm now interested in knowing what you ate, what you took during this 84-hour fast. Because breaking a fast is as important as fasting. Most of you will tell me chapati has been there. Chapati and mandazi and bread, those are the hardest thing to quit. Because they have ectofins, they activate your dopamine, they activate your internal system that numbs pain and makes you feel good. That's the reason why they are so hard to quit. Let me take some questions from TikTok also. Teddy from Ethiopia, what do you think about fasting? I don't think about fasting. I practice fasting. You need to fast. Like literally, even if you're healthy, you do not need 6 meals a day. 2 meals are enough. One at 11 a.m. and the other one at 6:30 and above to almost 8:30, the latest. Rina, I broke my fast with 5 beers. That was not a fast. That was not a fast. That was not a fast. No. And you did not fast. Neither did you break a fast. You just drank beer. You love beer, and beer is highly estrogenic. That's the reason why you grow fat anyway. That's the reason why you get PCOS. If you're a lady, Rina, you'll have PCOS in future. So you're thinking narrowly. You need to open up your mind. Thank you, Loben. How should one break a fast? Breaking a fast, I put up a video about breaking a fast. And it was a video that was done during Ramadan season when I realized most of my Muslim brothers and sisters, when they break the fast, they eat a lot of seed oils, they eat a whole tin of dates, they take juice, and then they eat all this rice all night long. So the fast was just totally wasted health-wise. It was wasted health-wise. Daniel is still asking us if carbohydrates are really necessary. We answered that question, gentlemen. Energy drinks will finish us. Yes, most of you people, you're addicted to energy drinks. You drink energy drinks hoping that they boost your energy, and they only have high content of caffeine and sugar. So the sugar is actually to make you addicted to these energy drinks. But the caffeine is a good one. But why don't you take caffeine from coffee? Why don't you take a sugarless black coffee? Because you know it's not sweet. In quotes, so your sweet is just sugar. Okay, good. What would you say about sugarcane juice? Is it healthy as alleged? Now, the same person who tells you that sugarcane juice is healthy is the same person who will package fructose into a whole pack and then tell you this is healthy for your children in form of milk formulas, in form of energy drinks. So sugar in all forms, whether the juice, you know, sugarcane, even from the name sugarcane, you have sugar already. So sugarcane juice is unhealthy, it's sugar, it has fructose and glucose. You don't need it. And by the way, this word healthy is quite confusing. When I hear about healthy, it's quite confusing. What is healthy? Can somebody just define the word healthy for me? What is healthy? Those people say, you know, I eat fruits because they are healthy. What is this healthy? And again, DMK, just the way you said it, is alleged to be healthy because nobody knows the real deal about it. And the real deal is sugar and fructose. So just drop it. Sugarcane juice is sugar, yes. There is no difference between synthetic sugar and natural sugar, yes. Your liver does not know. Wycliffe, thank you for that answer. Your liver does not know the difference between natural and synthetic. Once you absorb that sugar, you don't absorb it as natural or synthetic sugar. You absorb it as either fructose or glucose, and in the liver, it is taken into a breakdown channel for either fructose or for glucose. So what makes you think that when it gets into the liver knows you ate a banana? The liver does not know you ate a banana. Are saturated oils good? Yes, enjoy saturated oils. Actually, not oils, they are fats. Use them to cook. The only saturated oil that is good is coconut oil. The others are fats. Doctor, what is the area code of your WhatsApp number? I can't find you on WhatsApp. +254. Is coffee like Nescafe safe? Nescafe is packaged with instant sugar. Drop it. Go for natural coffee. People who are in Ethiopia enjoy Arabic. Is it Arabic or they call it Buna? Listen to this, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Just listen to this. I grow big on my upper body, and I'm told it's genetic. Hey, hey. Well, we will blame God for things that we go through. Yani tunalaumu Mungu vitu zingine zenye hata si atuelewe. We blame God and genes for things that we make. You see, everybody has these bad genes. We do. But what activates these bad genes is something called epigenetics. And epigenetics is basically dietary. So if I'm fat, it's my responsibility to lose weight. It's not because of my dad. My dad did not lose weight. That's his problem. But what are you doing? Just because you've been told that it's genetics, so you now just grow fat because, you know, it's genetics. I mean, even if I eat healthy, I'll still get fat. You see, my mother is in the genes. My mother was diabetic, so I still get diabetes. Because you see, in our family we have diabetes. My great-grandmother was diabetic. I'm told that I hear she was diabetic. So it's always about I hear, I'm told, it's this, it's this. So my mother told me her mother was diabetic, so I'll end up being diabetic. So I don't need to eat healthy, you know. Because even if I eat the fatty meats, I still get high cholesterol. No. Epigenetics is what plays a bigger role. Are dates good? Yes, dates are good, but what are you asking them? Well, nothing is bad, nothing is good. Dates are just there. They have high content of sugar and fiber. They also have minerals. But even the prophet said you should eat an odd number. There's nowhere that is recorded that the prophet ate dates, a whole bucket of dates just because he fasted for more than 2 days of stuff. So why would you go to the supermarket and buy a whole tin of dates and then you eat these dates, put them aside, go take juice, put it aside, drink tea that has high sugar and milk, put it aside, eat rice that is cooked in seed oils, and you also Kushites add sugar in rice, put it aside. Now you're eating every single thing that you're eating is just sugar, and then seed oils. And then tomorrow in the morning you come to the pharmacy, you want omeprazoles. Omeprazole. So you can imagine. So your cycle is just determined already. The big pharma knows the food industry will give you bad foods, and you eat those bad foods, and you will just come along. Don't worry, we have a solution for you. Insulin is here, metformin is here, omeprazole is here, the kits are here. We have the best kits. Come and buy them. And of course, because you have some few coins, you think you've made it in life. Nowadays, we take. Now, let me tell you something. You see, the reason why I tell you when you're eating, when you've achieved your health goals, you can go on a limited carbohydrate diet. Basically, you can do complex carbohydrates, the beans, the sweet potatoes, the arrowroots, the green bananas, the pumpkins, the butternuts, even the cassava, but once in a while, because cassava affects your thyroid also, blocks the absorption of iodine, so you might end up in thyroid problems. Also, it has high content of cyanide, which is poisonous, so you can take it once in a while. Okay, so those people who make uji for their children and then you put in so much cassava, you're killing those children's metabolism. I lost 7 pounds during my 84-hour fast. There's no problem with losing that fat. The problem is that will come back. It will definitely come back. If at all you're breaking your fast with watermelon, and guys, do you remember the old age, the traditional watermelon? It wasn't red inside; it was almost white. If somebody remembers that, it was very tasteless. It didn't have sugar. The modern watermelon, you just cut it this way and you want to eat it whole. Very red, very appealing, very juicy, high in sugar, and you will be told that this watermelon is actually supposed, because it looks red, it will top up your blood levels. That watermelon is very healthy for people who have hypertension. But the end result of watermelon is sugar. So all of us will agree that we eat fruits because they are sugar. We don't eat fruits because they are nutritious. Nobody eats fruits because they have vitamins. Otherwise, most of you will be eating lemon plus the peel. But your refrigerator is full of oranges, watermelons, mangoes. Why is it not full of lemons? Is stone melon okay? Yes, I don't know those, as long as it is what do you call it? It's seasonal. Seasonal fruits are good. However, nature designed it that if you eat an apple now, you will eat it next year at certain time, at a time like this. But nowadays, you open up your gate, a fruit vendor is there. Siku hizi wanatembea hata na ndoo, wanauza ndani fruits. Alafu sisi kwa sababu ya addiction, we want it. Once you see it, you want it. I've stopped chapatis and mandazis, so I don't know how I will cope with my family during the month of Ramadan. Halima Hussein, that's a very good statement. The point is this: health is a personal journey, and you can do this during the Ramadan period. It's very interesting because that's when you're supposed to achieve both health goals and at the same time spiritual goals. So it's a very good month for you to gain your health benefits out of this spiritual fasting. But the reality is, how you break a fast is as important as how you continue this fast. How you carry out that fast and breaking the fast are the same things. So the only thing you need to do is, yes, they cook and you eat as a family. That's a serious problem because again, eating as a family is you have very limited options. However, try as much as possible to only eat possibly one meal. Okay, and then you can change the cooking oil to ghee. But the point is this: I've realized during Ramadan, my Muslim brothers and sisters, they actually convert the day into the night, and the night into the day. So the only thing that changes is they are not eating during the day, but they are eating during the night. So the whole night is a feast. Hey, the whole night is a feast, and then during the day we are fasting. We have 12 hours of fasting. Very good. Dry fast. Very good. What about the night? What is the goal of the fast then? If I told someone supposed to help you spiritually and health-wise, what is the need of the fast? Why would you fast and then eat literally everything? And I think that's a month where everybody is just flexing their muscles about who can eat good foods and who can eat more rice. So it's all about rice, samosa, chapati, all of them. And there's this meat that they preserve in seed oils. Kusha know it. You cook your meat, you deep fry it in seed oils, and then it's floating in that rina, in that elianto. It's floating in very well. Then you keep it, and tomorrow you just scoop it and eat it. Wow! Then 2 hours later, I have gastritis. It's the beans. My gastritis comes in if I don't eat. I'll get these problems. Gastritis comes in because I have not eaten. It's because of the fasting. You've taken all this sugar, you've taken all these seed oils, and then you're blaming beans. Then you're blaming the fast. I cannot fast because I have gastritis. Come on. You just can't fast because you don't have the discipline. You don't have the discipline. Is fatty meat good for hypertension? If you are hypertensive, eat fatty meat. Do not eat lean meat because lean meat will be converted to glucose anyhow, and then you will get high glucose levels, and then you'll get insulin resistance, which is the mother of hypertension. My neighbor's kid, 2 years old, is on insulin, and when sugar goes down, he is given 2 tablespoonfuls of honey and apple juice. That kid will be on insulin for all his life because of the mistakes that the parents are doing. The reason why we inject insulin is because we chronically consume carbohydrates. So if you want to avoid insulin, 1, drop carbohydrates in our diet all through. Drop the carbohydrates. Number 2, drop the seed oils, the inflammatory foods. Number 3, drop the insulin. Simple. And then drop the lean meats. Children, let them eat fatty meats. Let them eat vegetables. Children who are type 1 diabetic, they can really recover quick fast. Remember, they are children and their cells are rapidly multiplying, and therefore their pancreas can rejuvenate and they will heal Their pancreas can rejuvenate. It's not like adults. If you done type 1 in adulthood, then you can take insulin. But if you're a child, your pancreas will rejuvenate. So if you give an external insulin, you're actually telling the pancreas not to rejuvenate because you don't need it. Good. Somebody's talking about rhesus factor. I have a video on rhesus factor and blood groups. Very interesting. Go and watch it on my YouTube. How healthy is peanut? Which one? If they're the nuts that are but once they go and they process it and bring you peanut butter, that is seed oils, drop it as quickly as you can. Good. So let me bring in some people. I think I've ranted a lot. So if you don't pick anything from this video, then only pick this, that carbohydrates are non-essential. We do not need them in our diets, but we take them because we found people taking them. Just the same way we take breakfast because we found our parents taking breakfast. Munene.
Hello, Dr.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
First of all, I must commend you on this great job that you're doing over here.
Yeah.
But I just have one very simple question that has always been burning me all along.
Okay.
I want to say that I've been diagnosed with asthma.
Asthma, okay.
Yes, for the last, say, back from 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been having challenges with how I can manage it and the drugs that I'm supposed to use because there have always been a confusion. Now, currently, I'm using an inhaler, which is, I think it should be inhaler Foralin 200.
Okay, so it has salbutamol and a steroid, right?
Yes, it has got some steroids and some salbutamol in it. So now I'm trying to, I always look for a way that I can manage it without using the drugs. Is it possible?
So first things first, never own a disease, okay? Never own a disease because your first immunity starts from your head. So do not own a disease, whether diabetes or never say I am. Just say there is asthma. Now, again, drugs for asthma are drugs that are used to treat the symptoms. They don't treat the cause of asthma.
Okay.
So again, if you ever get a chance to get on my YouTube, there's a video about asthma and also fixing the gut. So this is the point. What is your cooking oil?
Well, I'm a culprit of using seed oils. Let me just say that.
Seed oils. Do you eat chapati and wheat products? I want you to be as honest as possible.
A lot.
A lot of them.
A lot.
Good. How often do you fast? Or how many meals do you eat in a day?
I don't fast. Let me just say I don't fast, but I eat twice in a day.
Twice in a day. And then you snack a lot, right?
Yeah.
What is your body weight?
Let me say last time I checked, I was 60.
60 kgs. How long have you had asthma?
I was diagnosed back in 2017. It's been a challenge. It's been a problem since when I was young, like around 2008, thereabout. But then I was diagnosed now in 2017.
Oh, okay. So from that time, you've been on the inhaler.
Yeah, I've always been on inhalers and going through nebulizations and a lot of treatments about the asthma or whatever.
So listen to me. Asthma is reversible, okay? Asthma is reversible, but you cannot reverse asthma using drugs. You reverse asthma through dietary modifications because asthma is a chronic inflammatory condition of the airways.
Okay.
Underline the word inflammatory.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And in this channel, we always tell you where inflammation comes from. Inflammation comes from consumption of seed oils. Inflammation comes from consumption of sugar and wheat products. These three are the mothers of inflammation. And I've just seen a question on TikTok, somebody asking, how is asthma related to seed oils? That is a person who has been here for the first time. We welcome you wherever you are. So point is this, those three, seed oils, wheat products, and sugar in all forms, including fruits and honey, okay?
Okay.
So those three are the ones you're supposed to drop. Now, if you ever want to drop those drugs, then you need to drop these three. So for you to recover from asthma, one, change your cooking oil from the one that you're using to ghee or coconut oil.
Okay.
Number two, never ever eat any wheat product, be it spaghetti, be it pasta, be it chapati, be it bread, be it mandazi, be it injera. Drop them totally.
Okay.
I don't know how you'll manage that because of the addiction that you have already, but they will have to go because, again, you want to heal from asthma, don't you?
Yeah, sure.
Number three, sugar in all forms, table sugar, sugarcane, fruits, and honey. They are going, including the margarines and stuff, the peanut butters, any processed foods, they are going. So this is basically a breakdown of what you're supposed to eat. For your carbohydrate sources, you're going to have only 6. Limit yourself to the 6. Sweet potatoes, butternuts, arrowroots, green bananas, beans, pumpkins, and what else? You can do cassava if you want to, but don't overdo it, okay? So those 6 are very healthy for you already. So these 6, combine them with any form of protein. Make it fatty protein.
Okay.
And then change your meals. You see your morning breakfast that you take, drop it. Push your breakfast to around midday.
Okay.
Make it healthy and clean keto. This one you cannot eat carbohydrates. Ile ya jioni ndio unaweza kula carbohydrates. Hii asubuhi, hii ya saa 5, ya saa 6, sorry. Just go on. You can eat the liver, you can eat eggs, you can take it with black coffee, sugarless black coffee or green tea.
Okay.
So the liver, the eggs, the meat, the vegetables, you can eat plus an avocado. At this moment in time, you can eat those meals and eat to satisfaction.
Okay.
There is no snacking again until 6:30 to 8:30. That's when you take your second meal of the day.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So remember, I told you at noon you're not taking any carbohydrates. You're taking a clean keto, basically animal fat, vegetables, and protein diet. These are two. Then at 6:30 you're allowed to eat a sweet potato plus beef, plus the liver, plus any organ meat, plus any protein, chicken, fish, all those the seafoods. You can eat that. So number one, you're going to change your cooking oil. You're going to drop sugar. You're going to drop all wheat products, and then you're going to use those 6 carbohydrates. Also, you're going to take 2 meals in a day, a maximum. No snacking in between. You can take sugarless black coffee, sugarless green tea, lemon tea or lemon water, or water and just add salt.
Okay.
So hakuna ugali, hakuna chapati, hakuna mchele, hakuna nini. Hizo 6 carbohydrates ndio stick to.
Okay.
And then 1 day in a week, possibly on Friday. Do you drink alcohol?
No.
So possibly on Friday, you're going to do only 1 meal a day. So you eat Friday at 7 p.m. The next meal you'll eat on Saturday at 7 p.m.
Okay.
You understand me? So you have 5 days to eat your 2 meals a day, and then on Friday to Saturday you have 1 meal a day. That's enough. Bro, take 8 weeks and see what happens to you, bro.
Thank you so much, Dr.
You're welcome, bro. Good. So it is very ignorant for somebody to ask, how is asthma related to seed oils? That tells me I have a lot of work to do. And that's why I appreciate this live conversation, because on live, somebody has the guts to ask this question and you can answer it instantly. But those people who run on my profiles on TikTok, that becomes very hard for me to explain things because there's a lot to do anyway. So for you to heal asthma, that is the easiest way to heal it. You reverse asthma and you'll be very okay, gentlemen. So let's talk to Anne Miranda. Let's see what she has for us. My people on YouTube, if you have a question, just throw it there on the comment section. I'll do it. Also, you can support us and our channel and our work through super chats. For those of you who know, I'll pin my number there, so you can do that. Okay, my number or my till number? Let me pin my till number. For the sake of other people, you can talk in English, but just hold on a minute. Nisumbua watu wa YouTube kidogo, watume ma super chats. 528 1291. Good. We appreciate those super chats. Is not nasikia excited, wacha tu. Super chat to excite Maza. Let's get for you live every day. Good, that's my till number. Yes, Ann Miranta.
I'm sorry, Doctor, mi sitaongea kizungu wake. So, I'll struggle. I just mi niko na ulcers na zimenisumbua for a while. But I normally take 1 meal per day and I do protein and veggies. Nimekuwa nikikufuata yani.
Toka lini?
Unasemanga but sasa
umenipata toka lini?
Sijamaliza I think 1 month and a half now.
1 month?
But sijakuwa na but sasa ulcers imenilemea. I don't know, like I don't take breakfast. I normally eat lunch. I don't take supper. So inakuwa worse kwangu. I don't know why. Because you see, someone's supposed to take 1 meal per day. So that's what I normally do. I normally eat my meal during 12. Sa usiku, nakunywanga soup. Ama maji, and then I sleep. Now, it's becoming worse on me. Nashindwa hadi kutembea juu ya ulcer. So what nitafanya aje?
So, umekuwa ukikula 1 meal a day?
Yeah.
Na umekula 1 meal a day for how long?
1 month.
Hey. I don't believe you. Do you know why?
I swear, nimekuwa
no, you don't.
Ile kitu nimefanya nime-reduce weight yangu kabisa.
You don't need to swear. The point is, people who have suffered ulcers for the longest period of time, they'll tell you if they take 1 meal a day, they recover from ulcers instantly. So you're telling us that you take 1 meal a day, but you're still an ulcer patient. I'll call you a patient for that for now. But again, you've taken this healthy eating for. So what do you eat at 12?
Beef, na spinach, hivyo tu.
Every day?
Sometimes chicken and cabbage.
What is your body weight?
Sahi niko 74.
I rest my case. You are there's something you're not telling us. Like for real. Not unless
Ile kitu kunywa ni soup na maziwa. Just hizo. Na maji.
Ann, ni one thing kuniambia mimi ukweli, ni one thing kunidanganya, ni one thing kujidanganya. 74 kgs does not qualify you to be taking 1 meal a day.
There before, nimetoka 80 kgs. Hata naweza kuonyesha measurements zangu zote nikiwa usijuzi.
Umetoka 80?
Nilikuwa 80, so nimereduce.
Ulikuwa admitted hosi ama?
Hapana.
What is your favorite fruit?
Apple.
Well, you said you also take milk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what have you dropped in your diet?
Soup.
What have you dropped in your diet?
Carbs.
Take me through carbs. Which carbs have you dropped in your diet?
Nilikuwa nalanga chakula sana, sima, rice. So I don't take them. Ile kitu maybe utumia ni ndoma once Saturdays.
Ndoma Saturdays.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let me not go rounds and rounds trying to pin you down. But the reality is, why don't you continue doing what you're doing? Because again, if I start going into deeper meanings, so I'll ask you what is your cooking oil, and you'll tell me you've been using ghee for the last 1 month. I will ask you about if you dropped wheat products, you'll tell me you dropped wheat products 1 month ago, and you've dropped weight from 84 to now 70 something. Unatumia mafuta gani?
Mafuta na sitadanganya. Ya kawaida tu.
But you've been following me for 1 month.
Yeah.
Na wewe umejua mimi nasema maziwa ni ya ndama ama watoto. Na wewe pia unajua mimi usema seed oils should not be used in anybody. Na wewe pia unajua I talk against fruits. Na wewe you want to tell me that since you've dropped from 84 to 74 is because you've practiced healthy living for 1 month. 10 kgs in 1 month, that is a serious lie.
Nilianza there before nilikuwa nafanya ku lose weight but sikuwa nafuata diet yoyote. Actually after nimeingia like zako ndio nilianza kuendelea na mambo ya kutumia diet. There before sikuwa natumia diet yoyote.
Perfect. So before you met me, you were on a journey to lose weight.
Yeah, but
and what?
I used to take
No, it's just a yes or no. Hey, please, hey, Anne, focus.
Yeah.
Before you met my content, you are on a journey to lose weight, right?
Yeah, sure.
Before this time, before the 1 month, you are still eating the seed oils, you're still eating the wheat products, you're still eating your ugali, you're still snacking, but you are losing weight. You see how you lie to us? So what was this that you're doing that was helping you lose weight?
Walk. I used to take a walk asubuhi na jioni.
It was nice having you here, Anne. I think until you become honest, then we'll have a conversation. This is a lie. It's a lie. Why would you lie on a public platform? You walk to lose weight 10 kgs in... How is that making sense? You walk to lose weight. You still eat wheat products. You still eat ugali. You still use seed oils. You still snack. You still eat fruits. And then you tell me you lose weight by walking. I mean, how easy is that losing weight? All of us will lose weight anyway. I have people who are losing weight. We are 5 weeks into it, and they will tell you, if there's somebody who has lost so much weight, maybe 4 or 5 kgs, 5 weeks. Now, this one, 4 weeks, she has lost 10 kgs, superb. And she has lost 10 kgs for just walking. May those of you who want to lose weight follow her ways. No. She said she used to walk. She didn't say she used to run. Even with running, you will never lose weight. Exercise plays 15% of weight loss. 15%, bro. 15%. That plays 80 to 85%. And then there's NEAT, non-exercise related thermogenesis, things like sex, things like washing, things like cooking, and the walks and stuff, those things that you don't realize you're using energy, they play 5% of the role. How can you lose weight by just walking every day and you lose 10 kgs in 1 month? Moving on swiftly. I think Anne lied to us. Anne was lying. If you're honest, we would have an honest conversation. As much as we want to interact, let's make it an honest interaction so that we get to help you. Because if you lie, you're not lying to me, you're lying to yourself. I mean, most of us have achieved their health goals. I lost 2 kgs in a month. Yes, 2 kgs in a month is very possible. Okay? It's very possible. 2 kgs in a month is very possible. 10 kgs in a month is not making sense. Through just walking alone, and the diet is still the same. That doesn't make sense. Linda. So Linda has decided to run away. I think Linda was also intending to lie. She realized she's on the wrong platform. Sarah Maingi. Let's see. Exercise is total bullshit. Yes, if you have a lot of weight, if you go for exercise, you're wasting time because you're exerting a lot of pressure on your joints. So you'll end up getting arthritis. Okay, so you need to fix the kitchen first before you attain a certain weight, and then you go to the gym or exercise. Sarah Maingi. Thank you, Kombucha.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Are you intending to have an honest conversation with us?
Yes.
Okay, talk to us.
Okay, my issue is that my son has been having mucus since he was born.
She?
It is always there.
You said your son, then you said she. Okay, huh?
Yeah.
Kindly turn off the background because I'm hearing myself from. I think you're watching something. Go ahead.
Okay, I was saying has been says drought. Whether it's sunny or cold.
Your son has been having mucus. Where are you going to? I want to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm here.
So your son, how old is your son?
7 years.
What is your body? What is his body weight?
25.
So you said your son has had mucus for how long again?
For like since he was a kid. He was a kid.
But he's still a kid.
3 years.
Oh, 3 years.
Yeah.
So the question is, what have you done about the mucus?
Okay, there was time I took him to hospital. They told me they have seen something on the throat that should be done a minor surgery. But I've never taken him back.
Did you deliver through a cesarean section?
No, normal.
Did you start your child? How long did you breastfeed?
For 2 years, 1 year, 8 months.
You breastfed exclusively for 6 months?
Yes.
You sure?
No, not 6 months.
Yeah.
3 months.
Oh, you breastfed for 3 months?
Yeah.
And then after those 3 months, what did you introduce to your son?
Porridge.
Which type of porridge?
Totoafia. I think it was totoafia.
Processed flour porridge. Yeah. Was your son on milk formulas?
No.
Okay. So for how long did you give your son this porridge?
Like exclusively till 2 years.
Good. Does your son eat bread?
Yes, he takes bread.
How about chapati?
Yes.
Mandazi?
Yes.
Do you feed your child with noodles?
Sometimes.
Spaghetti? Hello, Sarah. Where are you running to, Sarah? Sarah, come on. You can't run away from us there like that. Fix that network and come back, Sarah. We still need that conversation. Come on. That's a very interesting topic. We need to clear it because there are so many parents here who are still feeding their children. At 3 months old, you already introduced your child to porridge. Hey. At 3 months, your child is already on porridge. And then that child suffers constipation every time. And then, of course, you give them bread and you dip that bread in tea that has sugar and milk. Good for you. Let's talk to Goldstone.
Hello?
Yes, Goldstone.
Yes, how are you, sir?
I'm doing so fine. How are you, my gentleman?
I'm very, very good, and I really appreciate the education that you give to us every day and the way you are really informing us about what we didn't really know.
Thank you so much, bro. It's my duty to do that.
Yeah. Now, my wife was diagnosed with diabetes, and when I bumped into your what do you call this platform? I thought that what you are giving us was more relevant to getting her healed than, of course, the medication that we've been getting from the hospital. So because of that, we decided to drop all the medicine.
Yeah.
And somehow, because I've not consistently followed you,
yes,
I was aware that I was supposed to just use keto diet, which was basically meat and protein, a lot of proteins.
Yeah.
And I also asked her to take mala, and then we have not dropped the seed oil.
Okay.
And apparently, and of course, what I'm trying to say is that we've just had to follow you in a very amateur way, in a very lame way. We didn't have that clear instructions of how we should go on about it. So maybe that is what I would ask you. That the result is that she is still very, very sick. She has dropped all those medications, but a few times she keeps on complaining of body pain, sometimes joint, sometimes she complains of pain in the lungs. And personally, I'm aware that it is because we have not gotten the clear instruction on what we are supposed to do. So maybe I would kindly request you, Daktari, to tell me how are we supposed to go through this? Because I'm really convinced that your way is the way. Is the only way that I can get my wife's health restored.
Even your health too. Okay, what's your wife's body weight?
She's around 65.
65. How old is she?
Yeah. She's 41.
41. I'm actually glad that you're a very honest person. You didn't go beating around the bush so that we can just trap you. I'm glad that you said you've been following me lamely. And the only problem is you followed me lamely. You will be recovering already. She will be recovering right now already. Trust me. So the point is this.
Right.
This is basically a breakdown of the diabetic diet. This person called the diabetic. For them to recover from diabetes, this is their diet. First things first, you cannot start healthy. I'm putting it in quotes because that's what people say. I eat healthy. So you cannot start healthy eating if you've not dropped unhealthy eating, because it will be a waste of time. So what is unhealthy eating? Start by dropping the seed oils, change it to saturated fats, ghee, tallow, lard, sweat, coconut oil. Those are the oils that are supposed to be used for cooking. For you to simplify it, just make sure you use ghee or coconut oil.
Yeah.
Seed oils we have in the dustbin. Number 2, change your there's no substitute for sugar. So if at all you're still using sugar in any form, including fruits and honey, then they have to be in. That's number 2.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
Number 3, if you're already diabetic, is she on any drugs?
Yeah, she's been using a lot of drugs.
Which can you remember? Can you actually grasp the names of the drugs?
And one was called glucose something.
That is metformin. That is metformin.
Yeah.
So I want you to understand that drugs for diabetes, they don't treat diabetes, they treat the symptoms of diabetes.
Okay.
Which is hyperglycemia. That is a symptom of diabetes. Diabetes is not hyperglycemia. So they focus on that, and that's why you will end up treating the symptoms as you let the disease establish itself. And guess the end result? You will end up in kidney failure, you will end up in heart attack, you will end up in liver failure, you will end up in the dialysis, you will end up in amputation and blindness. And still, you will be on these drugs at that moment in time. So that tells you that we are not treating the cause, we are treating the symptoms. So those drugs, once you adapt healthy eating for at least 8 weeks, drop those drugs slow by slow. And you can also use my WhatsApp number on my bio. I can guide you through how to break down, how to just taper down those drugs until we get them out. But that has to come 8 weeks after you are into strict keto. So number 3 on the list of the things that you're dropping is any food that is packaged and advertised. I mean, if you walk into that supermarket, the only thing that you're going to buy in that supermarket is ghee or coconut oil.
Right.
The rest, watch as back in supermarket. So now you've dropped those 3. Now, what do you consume? Now, a diabetic patient already has high glucose in the system. So we need to drop that glucose. So they do not need any carbohydrates in their system anymore.
Right.
That tells you there is no carbohydrates for her. So basically, she's going on a clean keto, And a clean keto means she's going to take protein, she's going to take fats, and she's going to take vegetables. And these fats are what I call saturated fats, the healthy fats. I'm talking about the ghee. So if you buy meat, make it fatty meat, and then cook that meat using that same fat, or you can fry it or cook it in ghee or the coconut oil, okay?
Yeah.
So she's going to take meat, red and white meat in plenty, make it fatty meat. She's going to take fish, she's going to take rabbit meat, she's going to take seafoods, the omena, all those seafood, the lobsters, all of them. She's going to eat chicken, make it pastured chicken, make it the organic chicken. Let her eat the chicken plus the skin. This story, how skin has a lot of cholesterol and it will affect her system. Let her enjoy her chicken in plenty. Let her eat all organ meats, the liver, the kidney, the heart. Let her enjoy it. Let her enjoy bone broth. Go to the butchery, buy bones, boil them, and let her enjoy the soup of the bone. Highly nutritious.
Yes.
Let her eat all forms of vegetables in plenty. Make them organic. Let her go to the markets and buy vegetables. So all vegetables, all spices, as long as they are organic and not processed, let her enjoy them. So she's now combining this fatty protein plus the vegetables. And these vegetables, you just steam them. We don't have to overcook them. Just steam them. And then you can top dress them with olive oil. And then, after that, she's going to take a maximum of 2 meals in a day. The first meal is coming in at 12 noon. And the second meal is coming in at around 6:30 to 8:30 in the evening. You understand me? So 2 meals a day at maximum. That introduces her to fasting. Okay? And then that is now intermittent fasting. And then at least 1 day in a week, she should do a 24-hour fast. Meaning, let's just say this the way we advise the other guy. On Friday, she can eat the last meal at 7 p.m. and then the next meal she eats on Saturday at 7 p.m. So during the day, the only thing she's doing is rehydrating with salt water, sugarless black coffee, or sugarless black tea or green tea, whatever she prefers.
Yes.
Okay, so now we have 6 days for 2 meals a day and 1 day for 1 meal a day. That is enough to clear the glucose that is in her system, the fat that is in her system, to burn it and convert it into healthy energy, which is ketone bodies. And that is an absolute diet plan for a diabetic patient. Those people who ask me about, hey, can you provide me a diabetic meal plan for me? I'm diabetic. This is what you're supposed to do. Focus on that healthy keto. Basically, drop carbohydrates because they are the enemy, and then drop the sugar, drop the seed oils, and then focus on consuming every form of protein. Make it fatty protein, whether red or white. Combine it with vegetables. Every form of vegetables is healthy for you. Consume it in plenty. Consume all the spices as you wish. Make them organic spices. Once you do that, introduce fasting. 2 meals a day at maximum. Then 1 day, a 24-hour fast. Then after 8 weeks, we will introduce her to a 48-hour fast. Slow by slow. We start with 24, we graduate to 36, and then 48-hour fast. So that twice a month, she can do a 48-hour fast. And then the rest is just basically 2 meals a day and 1 meal a day during the weekends. So by that time, as we get to the 48-hour fast, we will not be talking about drugs for diabetes.
Wow.
No, we will not be talking about drugs for the symptoms of diabetes. We will be talking about drugs for diabetes. Which are the drugs for diabetes? The diet. And what are the drugs for the symptoms of diabetes? The metformins, the insulins,
Yes.
they call it, I think, glibenclamide, the glipizide. All those drugs, those are drugs for the symptoms of diabetes. So for you to recover from the symptoms, you need to clear the cause, and the cause is dietary. Once you clean, then you will not get the symptoms, and then you will not need drugs to treat the symptoms. Are we clear?
Very clear.
So you go save your life, bro.
I'm very grateful to you, Dr. Thank you so very much. I'll come back with a good report, a positive report. You can be sure about that.
You're welcome for being here. Thank you for passing by. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you so much.
That's my G. That's my G. Let me answer some few questions. Somebody asked me, is apetameal good for children? Any appetite stimulant is not good for anybody, leave alone children. Not good for anybody. Do not boost your appetite. Why would you boost your appetite when your body is actually telling you to avoid eating So anytime you lose appetite, your body is telling you, I am handling a lot and already. I want to clear this dirt. I want to detoxify the system. I want to clean the fatty liver. I want to rejuvenate your systems. So why are you giving me an appetite stimulant in quotes that is non-absorbable, that is full of side effects, causes you all this bloating? Why are you giving me a drug that will cause me too much sleep with the intention of forcing the body to eat when in real sense the body does not want to eat? If the body wants to eat, it will ask you for food. Now that it is asking you for fasting, why don't you do the fasting? Why do you want to disrespect your own body? Your body talks to you. It doesn't talk to a doctor. So listen to it. If it wants food, it will ask you for food through hunger. If it wants water, it will ask you for water through thirst. Why would you force it? So you're giving children multivitamin syrups, giving children, I think the code liver oils, whatever brand it is a waste of time. Feed these children with healthy meals. Let the children eat the liver, the eggs, the avocados, the beans. Okay, you can prepare the traditional porridge, the one that has millet, sorghum, groundnuts, and omena. You can give your children these foods. Let them play out with the dirt. Let them enjoy playing with pets so that they can boost their immunity. Do not give your children those multivitamin syrups. Don't. Let the children eat healthy meals. Their bodies will communicate to you. Please do not give your children appetite stimulants. Good. Let me see another question here. What's the ideal weight, doc, for a healthy male adults? The system says 70 kgs body weight, but again, your BMI is what matters here. So you can calculate that. But 70 kgs for an average male is good. Toto Afia has milk powders as one of the ingredients. I hope she's listening. I hope, what was her name? Sarah, I hope you're listening. Toto Afia has milk powder as one of its ingredients, which basically means it has fructose, it has soy, and soy is going to affect your son. Once he gets into adulthood or adolescence, that child will suffer erectile dysfunction, low testosterone, acne, and those pimples all through. So avoid that porridge that you give your children, the processed one. Good. How do I cut my soil and clay cravings? Cravings come as a result of insulin hyperinsulinemia. So you drop your insulin. Also, some cravings for like clay come as a result of lack of magnesium and zinc and all this, and the copper, the minerals. All these minerals are found in green vegetables. They're also found in the liver and the egg, the superfoods. Enjoy them. Next patient, please. Let's see who is here. DP has been here for quite some time. So thank you guys for, I think we are almost getting to the end of the session. And the end result here is that carbohydrates are non-essential. They are not necessary. If you don't eat carbohydrates, you will not have a problem. Yes, Lady P.
Hi, yeah, you're speaking with Lady P all the way from South Africa.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you for the information that you are sharing with us for free. I think I discovered you just more than a month ago.
Okay.
And my interest was more on the period pains because ever since I started my my periods when I was 13, I've been suffering from severe period pains.
Okay.
So I started. So I went immediately after your live because I discovered you from a live, and then I went to your. After the live, I went to your YouTube, and then I watched that there's a video there that you did about fibroids and pains during periods and all that.
Yeah, the hormonal balance one.
Last year, yes, I know that last year when I went for my pap smear and the scan, my gynae found very, very small fibroids. That he said that they were very small, so he could not even say that he can operate on them because they are very, very small.
Yeah.
Right? So immediately I started following what you say that you must eat. Well, I thought that I was eating healthy before I discovered you.
Yeah.
Because because I was not eating the rice, the pap, what you call ugali there in Kenya, and spaghettis. I don't eat those things, but I was using my olive oil to cook and my coconut oil sometimes. So I had those small changes. I loved fruit, so I stopped fruit. So last week when I went on my period, although I still had pains, but what I discovered is that I am no longer bloated during that time. There was no bloating.
Yes.
And I was not craving for sweet things, because just a few days before my period, I would be craving for salty and sweet things. So I would stock up on chocolates and all that. So I did not have that this month. So thank you very much. That's such an improvement for me. Since 13, I've been suffering from this. But although the pains are still there, but I'm hopeful that the more I follow what you are advising us to do, the more I'll recognize the results. Thank you very much. So right now I'm calling because first of all, I have a nephew who's 27. Unfortunately, I don't know his weight. He's suffering from epilepsy.
Okay.
So beginning of the year, because he's been suffering since he was a child, now he's 27. So I took him to a neurologist that said that he has a possibility that he will need operation because his epilepsy is very bad. So, but now for the meantime, since he's new to him, for the meantime he changed his medication. Unfortunately, I'm not staying with him, so I don't know his the name of the medication.
Okay.
So, but I was thinking that since you say that everything is reversible and it starts in the kitchen, so I want to ask you: would you advise that we stop him immediately, or we carry on with his medication, but start changing his kitchen? And then slowly but surely we take him off the medication, because when he gets the epilepsy, is very bad. After each episode, he sometimes he does not remember things. Like he looks like he has lost his mind. It's very bad. So how would you advise that we go about that?
Thank you so much for that question. And I have a story about my sister. And I've told it on people who are on my Telegram channel and also my other platforms like Facebook. I had a sister who was weighing 113 kgs, and she started with these convulsions. So every time she got sick, she would get these convulsions and febrile convulsions as a child. So every time she got sick, we were worried about her getting to convulse. And then we went, of course, to the neurologists, and we were prescribed with drugs for epilepsy and seizures. Started with phenobarbital, then graduated to tegretol, and then valproate, sodium valproate, and the valproic acid. So she took these drugs for the longest time, but the situation was getting worse because she was putting up so much weight, and these drugs are known to add weight. But at that moment in time, I never had most of this information, so I wouldn't doubt the therapy for convulsions and epilepsy. Now, when in 2019, when she decided to lose the weight and then just embraced fasting and healthy diets and the keto, everything else just became history. Now, the point is this: if you're on this platform and you have anybody, a relative, a brother, a parent, or even yourself, you're suffering from epilepsy or any neurological condition, be it Alzheimer's, you're forgetting everything, be it Parkinson's, be it these convulsions, be it depression, be it anxiety, if you're suffering from any neurological condition, the one that involves damage of nerves, the one that involves basically abnormal neurotransmission in your system, whether it's dopamine or serotonin, any type of neurotransmitter that is overreacting or that is misbehaving, whether you have high or you have. The reason why we have all these issues with the brain and the spinal cord is because of our messed up gut. There is a direct relationship between the gut and neurological conditions. And the direct link is here. These neurological conditions hail as a messed up or a imbalance in basically an imbalance in the neurotransmitters and the hormones that regulate our daily functions. Now you'll be told, for you to define like some conditions, you'll be told that you either have high dopamine, or like for epilepsy, you'll be told there's an overreacting dopamine release in the system that is causing all this excitation. Now that will lead you into conversion. But the reality is nobody's telling you why is this dopamine being overreactive. So the point is this: all these neurotransmitters hail from amino acids, and amino acids are coming from a protein diet. Now, you cannot absorb amino acids to help you get those neurotransmitters to balance if at all you have a messed up gut. When I say a messed up gut, I'm saying you have either gastritis or an inflamed gut, you have systemic inflammation, you have messed up adrenals, and all these are hailing from specific type of foods. Number one on the list is seed oils. If you drop seed oils, you're already into a journey of recovering your gut and your neurological conditions. Number two is the wheat products and any processed food. Basically, the most processed foods are carbohydrates. Number three is the sugar and fruits plus the honey. So if you want to fix your gut and if you want to fix your neurological problems, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to drop those three. Then head straight on a healthy keto. I'm not disputing the fact that your nephew is using drugs and they're at least managing the symptoms. So before you withdraw those drugs, because for you to withdraw drugs for a neurological condition, you must be very slow, because if you withdraw them once, you'll end up getting a rebound. So you withdraw them slowly, but you cannot withdraw these drugs if you have not balanced the hormones or the neurotransmitters. Therefore, you need to first fix the gut. Once you fix the gut through dropping those foods, now you go straight on healthy and strict keto. No carbohydrates in their diet, including the complex carbohydrates that I mentioned. Ignore. Just go on a protein diet, go on an animal fat diet, go on a vegetable diet, and cook it in fats, animal fats, the ghee, the tallow, and the coconut oil. Once you do that, if they are old enough, you can introduce intermittent fasting to them. If they are children, let them continue eating those 3 meals a day, but do not give them anything that has sugar or anything that will cause a degeneration in these neurotransmitters, and also a gut problem. Because if you do have a gut problem, you will not absorb proteins or amino acids in their adequate form, and that is a problem, because now you'll end up getting those neurological conditions. For you to save your nephew, follow exactly that. Once that is satisfied, now we can start withdrawing the drugs slow by slow, tapering them down, and then your nephew will be epilepsy free. Understood?
Okay, no. Okay, that's reasonable, because I'm thinking that if we just withdraw him, he won't be bad, because it gets really, really bad when he has those episodes.
Do not withdraw them. Do not withdraw them. Taper them down slowly after you've introduced healthy eating.
Okay, first we must fix his kitchen, because it does not stay with us. We must fix his kitchen, and then maybe after a few months of fixing his kitchen, then we temper it down slowly but surely, and then finish it.
Okay. Yes, and you'll be very amused that these things just disappear, and you'll realize most health conditions that we suffer from is because of our own wanting. You see, now there are others that you cannot control because our parents introduced us to bad habits and bad diets. Now that is what is actually affecting us. So it's up to us to break that cult.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, thank you. The last question, please. Sorry. It's easy to eat healthy when you are at home, but when you go on a holiday, can you advise what do I eat when I'm on holiday, just to try and be as close to what I eat here at home? Do I eat once? Because most restaurants, they use seed oils and whatever, or you just don't have control over the kitchen.
So realistically, a healthy person has 1,000 things to chase, including those holidays. An ailing person or a sick person has only one thing to chase. So choose you.
So I don't go on holiday.
I'm not saying you don't go on holidays. I'm just telling you the truth. That realistically is, if you want to eat healthy life, is a decision, is a choice you make. If you want to eat, you see, you cannot be married at the same time you're single, right?
Okay.
Are we clear? Have a good evening.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. So somebody's asking on YouTube. Yeah, Amaril too. Yeah, Amaril is part of the hypoglycemic agents that actually take you into hypo. Now, people who are diabetic, they will take glibenclamide. I don't want to mention the trade names because they will come after me. So if you're taking insulin, if you're taking glibenclamide, and then you go ahead and fast, you will go into hypoglycemia. You will even faint. Ask yourself why they tell you to eat before you inject yourself insulin, because they know insulin will take you into hypo. So insulin is the one that is taking you into hypo. So don't blame fasting for what insulin and those oral hypoglycemic agents cost you. Do not. So if you're diabetic, you need to fast. You don't have an option. You've been eating all those meals all through, and you've never survived. So it's time to change what you've been doing. You cannot do the same things and expect different results. So if you're on TikTok and you've been here for that long, kindly, you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, be there, get us to, we want to, by the end of this year, inshallah, we will get to 100,000. That is for sure. And the reason why we want to get to that mark is because we want to change lives from a bigger perspective. And we don't want to go and touch lives through mainstream media. We want to do this on our own. And if we get a chance to go on mainstream media, it's because we actually just want to make sense at that moment in time. So mainstream media at some point has a way of just corrupting health information and good information, because media has their own way of their own agenda. So it's tricky a little bit. So kindly help us achieve our goals as we help you achieve healthy living. So there was a question I saw here on YouTube. I don't know why it disappeared too. High levels of prostate. Now, this question is very open-ended. There is nothing that I wish you, Ridwan, I wish you can just narrow it down. There is nothing like high levels of prostate. Shadrach Katema, I see you connected. Samuel Chileshe here. Welcome. That's how we grow. Refer somebody here, let them get the information. If they find this information helpful to them, let them practice it. If they find it not helpful to them, let them be. Don't force people, just refer them to us. And I'm glad that most people on my TikTok account are referring people to come over. That's a good thing, because that shows a sign of care. And we need to grow as a team as we continue doing this thing. Though, let no haters bring Mbokni. You really help us. Thank you so much. There is nobody who can bring us down. Trust me. There's no energy that can bring us down, because the reality is an interesting story. When I was starting these channels, I did it because I wanted some day in future to just sit back and watch my content and just smile and say, hey, come on. I wish I was a teacher somewhere, but this good stuff, okay? So I wanted that. Then I realized the moment I posted my first video on TikTok, it received a very good following, and everybody was asking a lot of questions. And I realized that the things that have been questioning the system silently are the same things that you people are questioning, but you don't have that voice. You don't have that substantial evidence, because possibly you've not gone into a medical class, you've not studied drugs, so you might just end up buying that. Because sometimes you go to a doctor, and the doctor writes like, should I really take these drugs? Is it really necessary? So you are actually in between. So that's where I come in. I come in to bridge that gap, tell your doctor that this is not right, and tell you that this is how it's supposed to be done. And then we get to a center where we can agree to reason from your perspective and also a medical perspective. Then from there, even if we give you these drugs and you take them, you already know what you're suffering from. You already know why you're taking these drugs for and how these drugs work. Most of you take drugs that they don't even know how they work. Most of you eat ugali because you found your father eating ugali and you get accustomed to it, and even the syllabus made it worse. By questioning it, you don't see the need to question it, because, again, it is none of your business. So that is understandable. And that's why I come in and tell you, hey, you've been eating ugali for all this time. And if you see the trajectory in the diabetic cases, you will associate this directly to sugar and these carbohydrates. If you don't eat carbohydrates, there is no reason, there is no problem. But if you eat them chronically, this is the issue. And I don't tell you don't eat carbohydrates. No, I'm telling you, if you have to eat carbohydrates, eat those that are beneficial. They will not spike your blood insulin. That's what the complex carbohydrates. But again, you have to eat that if you have attained your healthcare goals. Don't just eat carbohydrates for the sake of eating it. And then somebody will come and tell me, when I eat, I feel full and I get the energy. So let me tell you, anytime you eat, okay, should I hold that thought or should I just go ahead and tell you that? So anytime you eat, you have a filled stomach. So your stomach wall stretches. Once it stretches, it sends a signal to the brain through the vagus nerve that, hey, there is energy that is coming in the next 12 hours. Because remember, that food will take almost 12 to 16 hours before you absorb it and convert it into healthy energy or energy. So the brain already knows in the next 12 hours, there's energy coming in. So the brain starts the liver to start clearing the stores, the glycogen stores that are quick fix for the system. Clear them because this is like a refrigerator. So we're expecting new energy to be stored. So clear the stores before we bring in new energy. That is when you get instant energy and you start functioning so fast and you think, hey, kumbe, the ugali that I ate just gave me energy. It's not the reality because that ugali has to be digested, absorbed, and then converted to energy. That will take 12 to 16 hours. So that is how it happens. So don't tell us just because you ate ugali now, you feel full. You don't feel full. You just tricked your body that there's energy coming in, and therefore the liver releases glucose from the glycogen stores. Let me do like around 2-3 people, and then we call it a day. We've been here for the last 2 hours, and I appreciate you guys for being here and being very patient, holding down this. Yes, Manasseh. Manasseh is listening to music. Manasseh has decided si wote tuende kesha tusikize mziki. Sijui ameamua tusikize mziki na sisi tumeamua hata pia ajitoe kidogo. Good. Good night, Doc. Halima, thank you so much for being part of us. We appreciate you. Sleep tight. We'll see you again on Monday, the same time. Thanks, Doc. You're really amazing. I appreciate you, Maxil Mina. Doc Wafula. Okay, Wafula will come in next. Protein allergy is a myth. I already explained protein allergy. There's nothing like protein allergy. Just drop the wheat, just drop the sugar and the seed oils and enjoy your protein in plenty. Dai, is it Dai or Dede?
It's Dai.
Dai. Dai. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Anything for us?
My question is regarding cholesterol.
Okay.
I recently did my test and I had crazy LDL levels.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas the HDLs were okay. So I quickly went and started taking aspirins and I diagnosed myself. I'm taking a statin.
Dai.
Yes.
Kindly, there's a place you lagged. There's a place the network was a little shaky. So kindly just repeat what you said from the beginning.
I said I got a test
okay.
of lipids and the LDLs are crazy.
LDLs are crazy, okay?
Crazy high, 6.7.
Okay.
And the HDLs are normal. So my question is, I have started taking an aspirin and a statin.
Mm-hmm.
What else can I do?
So your doctor told you to take aspirin and a statin?
No, I told myself.
You self-medicated yourself?
Based on the test I did. The appointment with the doctor can only happen on the 20th.
Are you a medical practitioner?
No, I'm not, but I have relatives who have gotten strokes.
So you got scared of your relatives' strokes and started atorvastatin and also aspirin?
Yes.
Are you aware of the side effects of aspirin?
It's well quoted. I mean, the quoting, I checked the side effects.
Dai.
Yes.
I don't want you to run away from the question. Just tell me, do you know the side effects of aspirin?
Not really.
One of the side effects of aspirin is kidney failure. Another side effect is gastritis, chronic gastritis for that matter, because it inhibits the prostaglandins that protect your stomach wall. So you'll end up into gastritis. That means you'll end up into nutrient deficiencies because you'll not absorb nutrient adequately.
It said it was safety coated.
And aspirin is supposed to be used for people who have heart problems, the emergency people who have those clottings in the system. Do you have blood clottings in the system? Do you have any sign of blood clotting in your system?
Okay, I didn't do that test, but I figured with the
yes
cholesterol,
or no? Yes or
anything
no?
can happen.
Yes or no?
No.
Good.
No.
Now, do you know the side effects of the statins? Likes of atorvastatin, do you know the side effects?
I did a lot of research and I hear they are more advantageous than disadvantageous.
If you did a research, why would you say I heard?
I did know online.
Okay. So now, so you did not do research, you just watch videos, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
So how much of the statin are you using? What milligram? How much of it are you using? What is the dosage?
I started with 5 mg.
Mm-hmm. Which one? Atorvastatin?
Yes.
Okay.
I started on 5 mg.
Okay.
Rosabelle, 5 mg, but the doctor had previously put me on 10 mg.
What is your body?
Now I started again.
What is your body weight?
81 kilos.
81.
And my height is 162 centimeters.
Good. So why didn't you see the need of fixing this weight to go back below 70 kgs? Why did you opt for drugs instead of fixing the weight?
I did go to a nutritionist
mm-hmm.
who now advised me, and I paid for it, and now they advised me to eat 3 meals.
3 meals a day?
3 meals a day. I can eat sausage, I can eat, I don't know.
So, which means you were taking more than 3 meals a day before they brought you 3 meals a day, right?
No, I was doing intermittent.
Take us through that intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm. So the intermittent fasting was every day I would make sure I eat on a daily basis after 11 or 12 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would eat my last meal at 7 p.m. And yes, I do enjoy my little whiskey.
Ah, okay. So now you know that whiskey is bad already. That's the reason why you're saying I enjoy my whiskey. So you know already alcohol is dangerous to your health, okay? And then you go ahead and take aspirin. And then you go ahead and self-medicate yourself with a statin. And do you know the side effect of statin? I asked you that, do you know?
Yes, they say something about your muscles, but it prevents heart attack, stroke.
So I'm going to take you through that, and then you tell me at the end of this conversation if at all it does prevent that stroke that you're talking about. So now, side effects of statin. So we will start with the side effects, and then the side effects will lead us to the issue. So the side effects of statin drugs is number 1, muscle wasting. Number 2, hormonal imbalance. Do you know why?
No.
Because it lowers cholesterol, and progesterone and testosterone and estrogen and vitamin D all come from cholesterol. And therefore, you'll have low of these hormones in your system. Therefore, you'll have hormonal imbalances, you'll have infertility, and you'll have issues which are related to basically the feminine side of you because of low estrogen and low progesterone. Also, immune problems because of low vitamin D. Again, do you know that 80% of your brain is cholesterol?
Yes.
So if you use a statin to lower cholesterol, you're actually telling the liver to lower cholesterol, and therefore you affect your brain. That's the reason why one of the side effects is also memory loss. Do you know that?
No.
Now, do you know that your daily requirement of cholesterol, 85% of that requirement is produced internally by the liver? You only get 20% from the diet. Did you know that?
No.
Did you also know that your liver will compensate? Even if you don't eat foods that have cholesterol, your liver will start producing 100% of the cholesterol that you require in a day. And therefore, it is useless for you to drop cholesterol foods because your liver will still produce cholesterol. And again, did you know that it is useless for you to stop the liver from producing something that is not harmful to you? Because if it was harmful, then the liver will not be producing it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
But now I was told my family history that the cholesterol we have is abnormally high. They're calling it hypolipidemia, chlorolipidemia, something like that.
There we go. There we go with the genes again. There we go with the genes, and then God. Genes and God. It's always about genes and God. Nobody's talking about epigenetics, which is basically what I'm taking you through, the diets. And I'm telling you, there's no harm in having high cholesterol in your system because the liver produces cholesterol anyway. So your liver cannot produce a substance that is harmful to you. Now you go and self-medicate yourself. You play the doctor responsibility and you take the statins, which are supposed to inhibit the liver from producing cholesterol, a substance that is supposed to help you get a healthy brain, get vitamin D, get your hormones, and fix your system in general. Did you know that the role of cholesterol in your system is to fix inflammation? Do you take seed oils? What is your cooking oil?
So I listened to you and I started trying. I used
chicken. Listen, just concentrate on what I'm asking, okay? What is your cooking oil?
Chicken oil.
For how long?
And beef.
For how long?
I've done it for the last maybe 2 months.
So what were you using previously? Because you did not get to
a lot of seed oil.
Yeah, because you did not get to 81 kgs in last 2 months. So you got there by consuming seed oils, right?
And bread, yes. I limit.
How about ugali?
I don't like it.
But you do take it once in a while?
Once in a while.
How about fruits?
Just a banana.
Oh, just a banana. Well done.
And strawberries.
Okay. How about juices and soda?
Avoid them only when I'm having my whiskey.
So you do take juice and soda, and you also take whiskey.
Yes, once in a while.
Now, all these have taken you to the condition that you're in, and then you go ahead and take drugs, but you've never changed these things. So listen to me carefully. If you'd rather drop those drugs instantly. Yani, instantly drop them. Listen to me. Drop those whiskey. Drop that whiskey. You cannot blame genes when you're actually taking whiskey. So you'll take whiskey and say, oh, for family we have genes that for hyperlipidemia. Yet you're taking. Are there genes for whiskey in your family? Genes that people are supposed to take whiskey?
No.
Good. That's the point.
None.
So why are we blaming genes for something that we are causing ourselves? So at 81 kgs, you can never lack this. But I want you to understand cholesterol this clearly. That cholesterol is not a problem. It will never be. It has never been. Drugs for cholesterol lowering are a scam in healthcare. Drop them instantly. Drop that aspirin because it will bring you heart attack actually, because it will kill your kidneys and you'll get into high blood pressure, which will actually kill your heart and your brain. Now, again, remember that when you see there is high LDL in your system, that is not a problem. But when you see a ratio of LDL and triglycerides being high, that tells you your diet is a mess. So what LDL does, it carries cholesterol from the liver to inflamed places in the body. So the reason why you have high LDL in the system is because you have high inflammation because of the foods that you've been eating. It's easy to predict that because of 81 kgs, because you've been using seed oils, because of wheat products, because of sugar, because of whiskey. So it is easy for me to predict that your system is inflamed, and therefore it's easy for me to even predict without taking a test that your LDL will be high, because LDL is not cholesterol. LDL is a carrier for cholesterol. So it carries cholesterol from the liver to inflamed places, the heart, the kidney, the blood vessels. So the reason why LDL is high is because your system has high inflammation. So the liver is actually trying to fix that inflammation, but you're stopping it to produce cholesterol that is supposed to help you fix the system, the inflammation. So you've caused inflammation to yourself, and then you're taking drugs that are supposed to stop you from healing from inflammation. So are you even solving the situation?
No.
You're not solving the situation. So drop those drugs instantly. You're not a medical practitioner, so why would you self-medicate yourself? It doesn't matter your family history. It matters epigenetics. And epigenetics are what will activate the genes that will cause you these conditions. And the epigenetics is what you've been eating. Now, you don't want to blame that, but you want to blame the genes that are all in these conditions. So why don't you drop those drugs instantly? Why don't you drop the seed oils? Why don't you drop the wheat products? Why don't you drop the whiskey? Why don't you drop the sugar? And then fix your diet. Just go on strict keto and then start fasting. Why don't you do that to prevent the occurrence of these things? Because if you continue doing what you're doing, you will end up in the same cases that your relatives have gone through. And then guess what? Your coming relatives, your children, will start blaming the genes.
Okay, I did intermittent fasting for like a year, and I got a side effect of very bad eczema.
Wow. Intermittent fasting causing eczema. Another lie.
Okay. Up to now, when I was doing intermittent fasting, it awoke my eczema. Up to now, I have crazy eczema because of too much protein.
No. There is nothing. Eczema is not related to protein. Eczema is related to new consumption of soda, wheat products, seed oils, and 81 kgs. At 81 kgs, your estrogen levels are high. And the reason why you're having eczema is because it is totally estrogenic. It is cystic. Hey, come on. It is estrogen that is causing you the eczema. It is not the meat. When do people get this? It is not the meat. If you consume wheat products, the seed oils and the sugar, and you get at this level, at 81 kgs as a woman, you will never lack acne, you will never lack eczema, you will never lack metabolic syndromes. They will never, and hormonal imbalance, because once you get estrogen going up, that is estrogen dominance. Once you get to estrogen dominance, you will continue adding weight because estrogen is an anabolic hormone, and estrogen also comes as a result of high insulin in your system. So you have a problem with eczema, and eczema is caused by high insulin levels and high estrogen levels in your system. These are the two culprits. Why would you blame protein?
Oh, this is something new. I'm willing to take up this. It went up to 68.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, the eczema woke up.
You see, intermittent fasting and fasting in general is not something you do for a while and then stop. It's a lifestyle. Just the same way you eat is the same way you should fast, because you need to eat and then give your body time to digest, absorb, and convert that energy into healthy energy. So the same way you eat is the same way you're supposed to fast. At least 8 hours between 2 meals. That will take you to only 2 meals a day. That is at midday, yes, and that is at 8 in the evening. And in between, there's no snacking, because I know you snack a lot. There's no snacking in between. There's no fruits apart from avocado. There is no concoctions.
Yes.
You understand me?
Sure.
Yeah.
I was trying keto. Yes. So I will be back in a month or two.
So you do this. There's a contact of mine on the bio. Get to my WhatsApp. Yes. Let's fix this. Let's not blame genes. Let's not blame all these conditions. We need to blame this weight, and this weight has to come down, and it is very possible. But we need to take a stand on these things. So don't come to my WhatsApp and then start telling me, now you know I have to take alcohol in the weekend. You know I have friends who take alcohol. Come on. Health is a personal journey. Treat it as such.
And sorry, before going, then that means wine is not bad for the heart, right?
Wine is not bad for the heart. Wine is alcohol. The content of alcohol is the one that just matters. It doesn't matter. Wine is alcoholic. Why do you find need to take wine? Tell me. What is the beneficial?
After a long day.
Okay, good. So you want to ease stress using wine?
Not just to, meet up with friends.
Why don't you ease your stress through meditation?
With friends.
And I've always said, friends, spouses, and family, these are the three groups of people that inhibit your healthy journey. And the same friends, you will realize if 5 of your friends are obese, you're the 6th one. You'll also realize that the same friends are the ones who are pumping you into the head that all this is in your genes. This is not you. You're not obese because you eat with us and you drink with us. You're obese because your family. You see your aunt is big. You see your mother is fat. You see your dad is hypertensive. They are the same people who will push this into your head. And if you don't listen, if you don't drop friends, actually, there are no friendships. You would rather prefer relationships that are healthy. People who want to lead healthy lives. Not people who will tell you, hey, come on, you're doing good. You go and take atorvastatin and you go to the pharmacy and buy atorvastatin on your own. Those are not friends. Those are just people who are interested in you because you are the one who is buying liquor for them.
All objectively noted, and I will talk to you in the bio.
Awesome. Please drop those drugs and do not self-medicate yourself ever again. Please don't.
Definitely. I will see the cardiologist and I will stop it.
But see the cardiologist after you fix your kitchen.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you for coming through.
All right.
Hey, I think that's enough conversation already. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot continue from there. We want to... I appreciate her for coming on this live. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we learn. Come to think of it, that somebody self-medicates themselves with drugs that are highly dangerous. These are drugs that are life-saving, yes, but in emergency situations. But these drugs on a normal basis, they are highly dangerous. I talk about NSAIDs every day, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. And number 1 on the list is aspirin. Good. So wamesema tupandishe Wafula. Let's just do it. Let's just pandisha Wafula and then finish this up. I am so surprised that this really happened. Wow. Do not self-medicate yourself. Kindly, please. At this moment in time, I was actually supposed to make a video on antimicrobial resistance. There is an uprise of antimicrobial resistance. People, specifically the cushion generation, you guys are using amoxicillins to chew mirror. You guys are using ceftriaxones every other time. Anytime you feel chest pains, you want to buy ceftriaxone and inject yourself thinking this is pneumonia. Oh, pneumonia baridi. Oh, pneumonia jua. You want to take antibiotics over the counter every other time and inject yourself. You are leading to a very serious problem in the future. Your children will lack drugs. And those drugs that will remain to be reserved for treatment, like vancomycin, like the piperacillins, those imipenems, these are drugs that kill the kidneys, drugs that kill the liver, drugs that have highest and very prone side effects that are very dangerous. So preserve, please, let antibiotics be prescribed before you buy them. Do not do that. Wafula.
Hey, hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
I've seen everybody calling you in. Something must be really serious.
Yeah.
Talk to me, bro.
I've been following you. I've been following you for the past 3 days.
Okay.
I remember I even texted you on WhatsApp. You just chatted for a while and then I disappeared.
I disappeared?
So me.
Oh, okay.
I was said that, yeah. Last year I used to be diabetic type 1.
Okay.
So I was admitted in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
When I was discharged, I was told to be using insulin.
Yeah.
In the morning, I used to inject 24 units and in the evening, 12 units.
Mm-hmm.
So I used that insulin for a period of like 6 months.
Yeah.
But there were no changes at all.
Mm-hmm.
So they introduced me to tablets. I used to use insulin plus tablets.
Yes.
So I used them for like 2 months, but there were no any changes at all.
Mm-hmm.
Until one day I met this nutritionist who came and told me that I have to change my diet, to fully change my diet.
Mm-hmm.
So I switched off my mind and focused on the diet. So I focused on the diet for like 1 month hivi, nikaona bado hakuna changes kabisa. So nikaamua kuanza kudrop hiyo insulin now. Nikaanza kuchange hizo units, nikizidrop chini polepole as time goes by.
Yeah.
So me, during my journey of diabetic, I used to eat a lot of greens, na greens, proteins, na easy fruits zenye ziko na low glycemic index.
Kama gani?
Like guavas, guavas and avocado. And then I used a lot of pumpkin and pumpkin seeds. Plus moringa.
Yeah.
Moringa, hiyo maji ya moringa. So I used them for like 1 month, and then wenye nilienda kuanza kupima hizo units zangu nikaona nimechange kabisa, even my weight ika lose once.
Yeah.
So units zikakuwa ziko chini kabisa. So the thing is mimi nikuja nikarealize kumbe it's all about diet, si hata ni story na insulin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
juu mi nilirudisha hizo units chini mpaka ikafika mahali sikuwa natumia hiyo insulin kabisa. Nikachange sasa, nikafocus na diet kabisa.
So the question is this, bro. Were you born diabetic?
No, I was not born diabetic.
Oh, so you got to type 2 and then type 1.
Yeah.
Ah, good. So at what age were you? How old are you now?
Now I'm 30.
You're 30. And at what age were you diagnosed of type 1 diabetes?
It was the same last year. I was 29.
Oh, before that, did you have what was the major symptom that you're experiencing before they diagnosed you of type 1 diabetes?
I used to drink a lot of water, especially at night and during the day.
Yeah. So Wafula, regardless of your situation, you have 70 years more to live. 30 years is just the beginning of a man. And the good thing is you're here. So first things first. Insulin will not help any person who has diabetes, not unless it is an emergency case.
Yeah, it's true.
Did you realize any weight gain when you're using insulin?
No.
You didn't add weight, right?
Yeah.
So lucky you, because the number one side effect of insulin is weight gain. And the reason why you gain weight is because I really don't understand why we give patients insulin. Yet the real sense is a diabetic patient already has enough glucose stored in their body cells as fat. And the role of insulin is to pump blood glucose into the cells that are already full. So I really wonder where we take this glucose, this insulin. Why we inject you insulin, telling you that your pancreas failed, and then give you drugs that actually kill the pancreas even more. The sitagliptins, they kill the pancreas. But we give people who are diabetic, and then we give you insulin, telling you that now you have a failing pancreas. Here is an insulin shot. But the point is this: insulin cannot help you if you're diabetic, whether type 1 or type 2, as long as it is not an emergency case. So for you to reverse diabetes, bro, it is this easy. First things first, do you ever fast?
I rarely do.
Yeah, so let's actually be honest with each other. You see these things that you're calling fruits that are low in glycemic index?
Yeah.
You do not need fruits. You don't. If there is any fruit that you can eat every day, let it be avocado. Any other fruit. I even saw guavas have been adulterated. I saw it that there are guavas that are GMO nowadays. So not unless you are in Western huko kwenye mapera iko kwa mamiti na mamilima and they are seasonal, then that is okay. But most guavas nowadays are even adulterated. That is even worse. So the point is this: you don't need fruits apart from avocado. Number two, vegetables, you don't need to do them every other day because vegetables are high in fiber. That is still carbohydrate. Now, I'm sure you've been also told that you're supposed to eat lean meat or avoid red meat and stuff. Are there any foods that you're told to avoid?
Sorry?
Are there any foods that your nutritionist told you to avoid?
Yeah.
Like what?
I was told to avoid foods like ugali, white bread, but I came to realize there's no difference between white bread and brown bread.
101%. 101%.
Yeah.
So do this. Exactly. Do what the system tells you, the opposite of that. So do this for the foods that you're supposed to avoid. Just go on a carbohydrate-free diet. You understand me?
Yeah.
Go on a carbohydrate-free diet. What is your cooking oil at this moment in time?
I use ghee.
Use ghee. That's a good one. So continue using that ghee. Then go to the butchery, eat meat, eat eggs, eat fish, eat chicken, all this, eat them in plenty, make them fatty. Ukienda kwa butcher kununua nyama, tell that butcherman, give me ile ya mafuta. Cut that piece that has a lot of fat. You understand me?
Yeah.
You need that. So eat meats in plenty, eat organ meats, the liver, the kidney, the heart in plenty, drink your bone broth in plenty. So basically, every form of protein, whether red or white, eat them in plenty, make them fatty. That is number one. Yeah. Number two, no fruits, no sugar, no honey, no processed foods. Number three on the list, you need to start fasting. That tells you, since you are on type 1 diabetes, the way they told you are on type 1 diabetes, then you have to go on 1 meal a day. Now, that will be hard for you to start instantly since you've never fasted. So I'll advise you to go on 2 meals a day. And then afterwards, when you adapt that, you can push a 1 meal a day. Now, that means your first meal of the day comes in at 12 noon. Wafula. Where's Wafula again? Wafula just disappeared. I wanted to talk. Wafula. Come on. Where has he disappeared to? This was so critical because I know there are people who are suffering from diabetes here and they needed to hear this. Wafula, kindly come back. I hope you get my number on the contact list so that we can have a conversation with you, Wafula. But the internet has just messed us up. But anyway, all in all, I hope you got what you can do. So basically, anybody in this channel, if you're diabetic, whether type 1 or type 2, there are basics that you need to do to recover from these conditions. Number one, you need to go on a 1 meal a day. If you can't do that, then go on a 2 meals a day. One at 12 noon, the other one at 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Then these meals, make them rich in protein, animal fat, and vegetables. You can also do the spices. You can do all vegetables and all spices. You can also do all proteins, red and white. Eat them in plenty. Now, once you do that, that is your journey for recovery already. Once you just drop carbohydrates, once you drop the cooking oils, the seed oils and the unsaturated vegetable oils, then you go to the saturated fats, the animal fats, the ghee, the tallow, the lard, the sweat. Also, you can use coconut oil, it's still saturated. Those people who use olive oil to deep fry things, do not use it for top dressing. It can still oxidize. So use it for top dressing your salads. So now you've changed your cooking oil to the healthy saturated fats. Now you've gone on 2 meals a day, one at 12 noon and one at 6:30 to 8. And then these meals, you've made them rich in protein, rich in fat, and rich in vegetables. And then you've now introduced a gap of fasting. So then 4 days in a week, you do 2 meals a day. 1 day in a week, you do 1 meal a day. You can even push it 2 days in a week, you do 1 meal a day. Then once you do that, after 2 weeks, you try as much as possible to push beyond 24 hours. So you can push to 36 hours. So when you break your fast, start slow, don't be anxious. If you eat faster, you will get into constipation and diarrhea. So you can do this. You can start with basically carrot juice or even tamarind juice as you start preparing your meal. So you take that juice and then you can take almost 30 minutes before your meal, okay, before your light meal. So this juice will actually help you levelize your insulin and then activate gut reflexes so that you can start digesting food appropriately. And then once you start cooking 30 minutes later or an hour later, you can now take your eggs or your fermented cabbage plus an avocado. You open up your gut completely, and then later on, 2 hours later, you can eat your healthy fat and protein diet. That is how you break a fast slow and surely. Do not break a fast with carbohydrates. Do not be in a hurry to thank yourself just because you fasted. You now want to be in a hurry to break that fast. Don't do that. Okay? If you've been here for long, start pushing a 48-hour fast. Your body needs cleansing. Your body needs to regenerate cells and nerves and even your brain cells. There's something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, that helps you boost your memory. And it only fast beyond 36 hours. That is autophagy. So go ahead and start fasting. Now, once you do that, start exercising, because those people who are diabetic type 1, they need to burn the glucose in their cells. And how to do that? Through fasting and through exercise. So exercise is very necessary. You can even walk 10,000 steps a day. That's almost like 4 kilometers a day. Very healthy for you. Now, once you do that, we will be talking about something else. Do not ever think that insulin therapy or those diabetic drugs will help you heal from diabetes. What they will do is they will help you recover from the symptoms of diabetes, but they let diabetes establish itself. And once it gets worse, it will rupture and you'll have all these problems. You'll go to amputation, kidney failure, high blood pressure, uncontrollable high blood pressure, the stroke, the heart disease. And at that moment in time, even the amputation and blindness, at that moment in time, it will be very hard for you to reverse it. Okay? Because now you have end-stage kidney damage. You go for dialysis, it's very expensive. You're already draining your pockets and insurances. So please, start healthy keto, start fasting, start exercising, make your health an intentional journey. Do not rely on your friends to help you fix your health. Health is a personal journey. Take it or treat it as so. So until Monday, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for those who have sent us gifts. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for being here to take your maybe those 3 hours to just be here with us to listen to us ranting and pushing this health agenda. If you've not answered your questions, just know we cannot answer all questions at once. But in the next live, we'll also make sure that we answer at maximum questions so that most of us get to understand this. Now, we choose specific questions to answer because we know if we answer one question, a lot of people have benefited from it. So thank you so much for being here. We need our 8 hours of sleep as usual, so sleep early. And until Monday, thank you so much. Again, before I forget, on Saturday, we're still having our Twitter or our X space. So purpose to attend. Be there, let's discuss all these health topics that how to fix our gut. So that is the topic that we are talking about on Saturday at 8 p.m. East African time. Be there, download that X app, and then be on that space. We shall see you there for healthy conversations. Until then, have a good night and be blessed. Woo! Adios, amigos.